Ilhan Omar is being accused of having lied on her citizenship application papers. We covered it briefly yesterday, and I'm like, I don't really understand the full details of what the accusations are here. And so I went to look into it. It's not rocket science, but now I understand exactly what's going on. The argument is, and it's funny, like you see people posting this on Twitter, be wary of screenshots with statements, especially when the screenshots don't necessarily confirm the statement, but especially when the screenshot does confirm the statement and you're like, oh, there's the evidence. And then you go and you've gotten duped by a screenshot and an account that may or may not be less than trustworthy. The accusation, and I'll get it from, Alpha News. Someone sent this in response to a link, and they've covered this. Exclusive: Ilhan Omar changed her birth year. Former congressional candidate explains the evidence. Here, Congress has a job to monitor their own, and that's what they should do, said AJ Kern, whose video on Ilhan Omar was recently shared by the president. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar continues to face scrutiny as President Donald Trump has recently called her immigration status into question. One woman has been raising the red flags about Rep. Omar, pointing out critical details about her age, naturalization, and immigration status that have been overlooked and ignored for years. AJ Kern, who ran for Congress herself, joined Liz Collin on her podcast to talk about the shocking deal. Okay, fine. You can go watch it. The bottom line is, Rep. Omar repeatedly claimed she became a citizen at age 17, Kern explained. However, based on public records, Kern said it seems as though Rep. Omar was actually 18 in the year 2000 when her father became eligible to apply for citizenship. After requesting and reviewing official documents, Kern believes that Rep. Omar actually wasn't a minor when her father could apply for naturalization. It kind of blows a hole in her story. Now, why does that matter? Apparently, I'll give everybody the link to this so you can share it. And if I can do it again, let me just do it one more time so I can give it all to you. Give the good traffic where it deserves. I don't know Alpha News before this. Not going to comment on anything other than to say I was doing some contemporaneous independent verifications, and at the very least, the base facts of this check out. Ilhan Omar allegedly got naturalized under her father's application. Set aside everything relating to her father, whether or not he was actually fleeing from the devastation caused by him and his ilk over in Somalia, and then claiming to be the victim of the atrocities that he and his ilk were causing. Applied for citizenship, got naturalized, and because Ilhan would have been 17 at the time, she could get naturalized or apply under his application and get naturalized if she were indeed a minor. If she were not a minor and she were 18, she would have had to apply on her own. Now, the evidence that we have, and I go back and double check this on this is my independent confirmation, so I'm comfortable with it. You don't have to be. You can go look this up yourself. This is on the Wayback Machine, where the documents up until 2019 indicated that Ilhan Omar was born in 1981. Let's just go to 1981. Okay, this is up until 2019. Ilhan Omar is elected on give or take 2018, I think. And so this would have been on the government website, the Minnesota Legislative Reference Library, for however long before she discovered the error and then asked for a clarification, asked for it to be corrected. And then currently, it indicates that her date of birth is 1982, meaning that she would have been 17 when she applied, filled out the application and whatever, and became naturalized under her father's application. Now, some people are rightly pointing out here, this is what I talk about it today, but prior to 2019, Ilhan Omar's date of birth on the legislative website said 1981. In 2019, her office asked for the error to be corrected, which it was. It now says 1982. The controversy is if she was 18 at the time, she would not have been able to gain citizenship automatically through her father's naturalization. So the question is, innocent error that has since been corrected or immigration fraud? Where are her citizenship documents, application? Like, that would be one way to check it. What should she write on her actual application? I presume they have that. And it seems it should be easily verifiable. Some people were saying, why would she have lied back then to say that she was older than she was? Because if she were 18, she presumably could have or would have been rejected by applying on her father's naturalization because she was a major, an adult. So some people say it's a lie without a benefit. Unless, Lord knows how strictly they were enforcing whatever rules at the time, unless she was accidentally given naturalization status, despite the fact that she ought not have been because she was 18. And in order to make sure that nobody goes back and scrutinizes it, that they asked for the correction to be done after the fact. The argument is not that she lied, or like it's twofold. Not necessarily that she lied at the time to say that she was younger than she was. Maybe she didn't, or maybe she did, but maybe they marked down that she was born in 1981 regardless, which means that she should not have been able to apply for naturalization under her father's application because she was above 18 and over. And so right now, in order to avoid scrutinizing that and possibly saying, oh, how did this even happen? They go back and correct it so that she was a minor, so that it now becomes legitimized ex post facto based on the correction of the error. That's the issue. We'll see what happens, because now it has reached mainstream analysis, mainstream inspection. And although there have been no mainstream outlets, what's amazing is you go look this up and like you hear, in order for people or the fact checker, the pre-fact checkers, they say, well, no one's debunked this. No official fact checker has debunked this, like Snopes or PolitiFact or Associated Press fact check or USA Today fact, the ones that have been lying about everything. Well, they haven't officially debunked this, so therefore it hasn't officially been debunked, and it's right now just a right-wing conspiracy theory on the internet. They asked for that date to be corrected. Now, the only question is why. Was it a bona fide error at the time, that she was in fact 17 at the time, and for whatever the reason they had 18, or she was 18 at the time, and they ought not ever have given her the naturalization under her father's application?